Happy lunch hour for a Saturday, guys. Okay, so with everything going on yesterday and inevitably today and tomorrow, with what's going on in Memphis, I thought this would be a topic to revisit for those that are been around here for a while, or to discuss for the first time for some of those of you that are new. And I want to get into security, okay? And I'm going to give you this. There's a whole lot of people that are going to try to sell you a whole lot of stuff that is all completely useless. It's actually counterproductive. Okay. Now, with the protests that apparently didn't turn into riots yesterday, it's a good thing. Okay. Who knows what happens tonight, all right, or the next day, or when something completely goes foobar. How are you going to safely and securely protect yourself, your family, your food, your anything of the sort? Okay. Now, anybody that's been prepping for a while knows the premise of gray man, okay, to blend in with the crowd. But the last thing you want to do is blend in with rioters, okay, because now all of a sudden you're a target for, I don't want to use the term law enforcement, but the groups, if you will, that are going to try to squash the rioters. Okay. The first thing absolutely you do not want to do is leave your house. Gee, thanks, Pinball. That was just rocket science. I'm glad I came and watched the video for that one, right? No. You want to hide as best you can, all right? No need to be Rambo. I know there's a whole lot of channels out there that'll tell you, yeah, get out on the front porch and start picking them off. Okay, right. Sure. Watch too many movies, sir. You want to hide in the house, and I'm not saying go cower in a closet or anything like that. You want to be paying attention to what's going on. But you all know as well as I do that when rioters are out there, you've got plenty of senses that you can use. Your eyes, your ears, your nose. You can sense what's going on. If they don't know where you are, but you know where they are, you have a very distinct advantage. And nobody's ever accused Antifa of using good tactics, all right? So what do you want to do? You want to get in the house, you want to shut off all the lights. You want to make it look like the home is empty, okay? You do not want to draw attention to yourself. You want to be able to observe without being observed. Turn off all the lights. Watch from a window, an obscure window, maybe from an upstairs bedroom window or something. Certainly not the front door, okay? Nothing of the sort like that. You want them to think there's no threat there, nobody there. Obviously, you have whatever personal protection device you're going to use at the ready. But so let's talk about how not to make yourself a target, right? And I know you hear all this all the time of, build a moat, put a fence around the house, whatever it is, all right? Nobody's digging a moat, all right? Putting a fence around your house, and this will probably be controversial, but I'm going to say it anyway, is probably something that is not a good idea. You know, you've got this 10-foot tall fence with barbed wire around the top. Your house looks like a prison, so I bet your neighbors really love you, right? All a fence is doing is telling people that you have something behind that fence that you're trying to protect. So it makes it look like, maybe this is someplace worth checking out. And as we all know, with the escapades of the southern border, fences don't really work anyway. They just climb them, all right? So what you've essentially done is given an invitation to the bad guys, hey, there's something behind there. And then you've also trapped yourself in, which is probably not a good thing. So what's a better solution if you want to protect the perimeter of your property is to plant things like trees, bushes. Raspberries are really good for this one. Roses, something that's going to be painful to go through. All right. Anything that's got thorns on it is good. You live in the desert Southwest, put a bunch of cactus around your property. Probably a good idea. It may not prevent them to come through, but it's going to slow them down. All right. Now, you can do this on the cheap. At least around me, hell, I can find wild raspberries. I could spit and find a wild raspberry. Dig some up, plant them, and poof, they're going to turn into a raspberry hedge very quickly. All right. So you have those ideas. Roses, of course, going to cost you money, but you can turn it into landscaping. And this is what I say all the time about hiding in plain sight. Now, let's say they get through the raspberries or the roses or the cactus or whatever you want to do. What do you want to have out in the yard? As much as we all would love to have landmines, it's probably not a good idea, all right? But y'all know what caltrops are, all right? Real easy to make. Go buy yourself a bunch of 16-penny nails, bend them, and solder them together. You make basically an X, all right? Anybody walking on those is really going to have a bad day. Now, you need to know where they are, and you need to clean them up, too. Getting yourself one of those big handheld magnets, like you see guys that work for roofing companies have, would be a good idea for something like this, too. If you put them in specific areas where you know, hey, I'm going to put them between this tree and this tree, 4 feet wide, then you know where to go sweep. You don't need to go, I'm just going to scatter them willy-nilly over my entire yard. That's not a good thing. If you know where they are, you know where to avoid. They don't know where they are. They're not exactly easy to see when they're in the grass or the garden or whatever, something like that. All right. So moving along, so Antifa gets through and they start banging on your front door. Do not open the door. I don't care if there's riots going on and you ordered a pizza, still don't open the front door. Even if you recognize the person that's at the front door, you don't know if they're being used as a hostage to get into the house. Just saying, all right? You don't open the door for anybody. If one of the bad guys decides they are going to open the door on their own, obviously you've been able to watch them get through your first line of defense, your second line of defense. You know where they're coming, and now you're sitting in a very nice spot to cover a window, a door, any sort of entry point. They're going to try the door first before they try a window. Okay? So if you can create those tunnels, we'll just use that term for you guys right now, your firing points, that's going to force them, to channel them into one specific area. It's a lot easier for you to train yourself for where they can only get to. If that's moving a couple of couches, moving a chair, moving the kitchen table or whatever, so you've got them funneled into one area to go, it's a lot easier for you to train your response on a 4-foot wide area than to let them just scatter across the entire front of the house. Okay. Now, you're going to have people in the household that you are going to want to protect. Babies, small children, the elderly, the infirmed, anybody that is not going to be able to be a defensive force, right? You're not giving your 3-year-old an AR and saying, hey, okay, pull the trigger here when you need to. Not going to happen. This is one of the biggest things that I see as a problem, where people have all their preps stored in a basement. Okay? Or for the uber rich ones out there, they have a safe room. Okay? honestly, I think the safe room is about the stupidest idea in the world. Oh, there's one way in and one way out. Great. They came into your house, you locked yourself in your safe room, and now what are you going to do? They'll stay in your house for months. You can't get out. Okay. The same with the basement. You know as well as I do, the first place that any bad guy is going to look, or the government is going to look for any of your preps or for you, is going to be the basement. There's one way in and one way out in most basements. Yeah, you may have a window well. Some people may have the doors like the storm shelter doors. There might be a second way out, but that's few and far between. Okay, houses aren't built like that anymore. And even if you have a window well, try getting through a window that is, a foot high. It's going to take you a while. I can get down to the stairs a hell of a lot faster and see your ass hanging out the window real quick there and, drag you back in. Okay. Yeah, maybe store some preps down there and store preps in other places. We all know store your things in multiple places. But here's the advantage, okay? If you know that the first place they are going to go look for everything is the basement, let them go there. Now you have them trapped. You close the door, you bolt the door, and if they try to come out, pop, they fall back down the stairs, okay? And then you get out the nice canvas bag, pick them up, and take them out to the compost pile. Anywhere you're going to retreat to, you need to have multiple ways to get in and get out, even if it's just a window, okay? Personally, I'd say you are better off on a second floor than you are in a basement. Why? Because you have a door and you have a window. If you've got a fire ladder, there's a way out. If it's close to a hill, you can jump off a roof from one floor, most people, okay, and safely land without busting a leg or whatever it would be. You can jump from 10 feet and get down. Not everybody. Fire ladder's a good idea too, okay? But if you have to, you can. You need to have a plan of escape. As much as everybody says, and I say the same thing, I plan on dying on this hill, all right? If the Chinese come over the hill, if I'm outnumbered, I'm not going to stand here and say, gee, I'm gonna get shot, no problem. Got to have an escape plan. You know where you are going. Everybody in the household knows where your rally point is, where to meet up. If you've got a specific point in the woods or whatever, you need, the old fire drill. Oh, if the house burns down, we all meet at the mailbox. Okay. For SHTF, the mailbox is not a good idea. Okay, just saying. Where are you all going to meet up? Is it behind the neighbor's barn? Okay, is it the gas station on the corner, whatever it would be? Something like that. You have to have that. You have to know how to get out. These are things you need to think about, guys. You want to be as low-key, as gray man as possible. You don't want your house to be a target. It still may be. Don't make it obvious. Again, telling you something you already know here. Don't make it obvious that you've got food and electricity if the power's out and everybody's starving. If it's been 2 days into, riots or whatever and all the grocery stores are closed, don't go out and barbecue, okay? But the electricity's out and I needed to cook somehow. Eat the can of beans cold, okay? Don't worry about it. If the meat rots, the meat rots. You go out and throw burgers on the grill, trust me, everybody and their mother's going to smell those, and you just invited everybody to your house. Think strategically when it comes to your defense. Think like a bad guy. This is always what I say. Think past here, okay? Something that Washington doesn't know how to do. It's the way you're going to save yourself. Because if you get into a situation where I bought all the cool stuff, you don't think the bad guys expect all the cool stuff? They put an ADT sign out in front of the house. Oh, okay, they have an ADT alarm. All right, so now they know, right? It's all the things that you can do that they don't expect that are going to save your life. The things that are obvious that everybody tries to sell you is the stuff that's going to kill you.